Alrighty, welcome back to another episode of Bullyball with me, Alex, my co-host Joseph. How you doing?
Doing good. Ready to jump into this Deebo news.
Yep. So today we'll hit the Bullyball, the bully of the week. Jump into this Deebo news, like Joseph just mentioned. Take a look at some draft stuff as usual, as the draft is going to be next Thursday, and then we'll do a final mock draft in preparation for that. Also, got some exciting news to announce, so stay tuned. Alrighty.
Tony Montana, Tony Montana, Tony Montana, check up on my ear. Tony Montana, Tony Montana, Tony Montana, I'm about to cut the.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back. So we figured we'd kick off this episode with the bully of the week. I'm gonna kick it over to Joe and let him run you guys through some tape and stuff.
All right, let's pull this up. All right, can you see the screen?
Yep.
Perfect. 1 second. All right, bully of the week. We have our guy Ed Ingram from LSU. He was visiting with the 49ers this past week. And here you see him with the Jason Poe, who we interviewed on the channel. Both of them were in Santa Clara, along with what's his name? Donald Dylan Parham. Donald.
Dylan
So
Parham.
so 3 offensive guards all at once were visiting with the team. And let's pull up some video of our guy, bully of the week. So here you can see him kick out block and just take the little D end out. Boom.
Oh.
All right.
Who is that
let's see
against
him
Florida?
That is that might be Florida.
Looks like that might be putting Zach Carter on his ass. That's one of the guys the Niners brought in to visit as well. Zach Carter, DN for
Yep.
Florida.
All right, we got him right here. And he's on number 97, the jumper, right there. Highlight him. Guy leaves his feet, slammed on his ass. All right, we got him here against Fedarian Mathis at the Senior Bowl. Stonewall. The dude is probably one of the better pass blocking guards in the draft. He's playing center rep here, but he also brings that nastiness to him. Look at him just toss down that D tackle. Boom. And then he picks up the twist as well. Number 70. All right, here he is again, number 70 pulling. Boom. Tosses out. That might be a linebacker corner. It looks like a safety coming down in the box.
Like a strong safety.
Just tosses them. And then here's a couple just plays of him, back in 2020 right here. He's
Good
just
down
a bully.
blocks.
Yep, he's just smashing people all game, man. Tossing them, good hand fighting, stonewalling big D tackles all game. And then he's always looking to clean up the mess, Tackle gets hands on, let me clean it up. Throwing people. You can't blitz on him. He's just going to toss you. He's going to use your momentum. Toss
against
you.
Bama right there too.
Yep.
And he's
really
playing
good
in
player.
SEC.
Look at him. See that blitz pickup right there? He's always looking for work. He's
playing in the
decent,
SEC too. You're going to be playing against the best players, so you're going to be playing against dudes that are going to be in the league soon, like Fedarian Mathis, like we said. I know Bama has some top-notch linebackers that are going to be in this draft too, so he's pro ready, you could say.
Yeah, and he is one of the most consistently and durable guys on the field for LSU the past 4 years. There was some crazy number, but he started like almost every game the past 4 years for them. So if you're looking for durability, nastiness, and a good pass blocker, that's your guy, Ed Ingram. Probably I'd say a 3rd round pick to me, but I could see him going in the 2nd as well. So that's our bully of the week.
Bully of the week. So we like to see. Before we jump into the Deebo news, do you want to tell the listeners about our exciting news that we got coming up?
No, we will tell them at the end so they
You wanna
watch
tell
the
them
whole
at the
video.
end?
Yes, watch the whole video so you could get
All
the
right.
exciting news.
All right. So I'm sure, as everybody's aware, Deebo Samuel has requested a trade from the 49ers, which is surprising, disheartening. Deebo is one of the reasons why we named our channel Bullyball, because that dude's a bully. He'll run over corners, he'll run over linebackers. His style of play is just downhill, bullying guys. Like, he exemplifies our YouTube channel name, Bullyball. So you hate to see it. Uh, I'm curious to know actually what happened, what made him want this trade, because there are so many different things that are being thrown out there right now. I just want to know what really happened. There's things saying he wants to get closer to home, which is South Carolina. He kind of refuted that and said, like, Adam Schefter always be making up stories. Like, that's not very true. So that was one thing. One thing was that we offered him $19 million a year, which was disrespectful, he thought. And then another report came out that we never even offered him at all. I know Ian Rappaport said on the Pat McAfee show that, like, the way he's interpreting it right now is that Deebo said, "Don't even offer me. I just want to trade. Like, I want to get away from the team." So my question is, why? He was locked in. You saw him at the end of the NFC Championship game, and he's crying in tears that we lost. Like, what happened within 2 to 3 months to make you change your mind like that? Was it because we haven't offered him yet? Does he really want to be closer to home? What was it? I have no idea. What are your thoughts?
The other report we saw was, hey, I don't want to play running back anymore. I'm a wide receiver. So tons of reports are out there. Deebo did post on Twitter and then delete it, but he said something along the lines of, only me, my agent, and the 49ers know what's actually happening right now. So, everything, there probably is some truth in there to every single one of these rumors, but maybe not the whole truth. You might be getting bits and pieces of the truth. So, it's unfortunate. Like you said, he is basically the heart and soul of the team. When you think of last season, you think of the underdog team, and you think of Deebo Samuel and Trent Williams leading the team out on the field to Super Gremlin in the playoffs. So, he was the offense. And you hope that they can end up working out the deal. You hope it's just, playing hard. And we also did see his I think it was his aunt, correct, that was on live streaming or something.
Some relative.
And he was talking about, like, someone, like, didn't get an offer, and then they said he'd get 20 million, but that's it. And then I saw a report yesterday, because everyone thought that was about Deebo, but supposedly that was Deebo talking about AJ Brown, saying that he got offered 20 or less, and
Yeah, I
that's
saw
all
that
they were going to
today
give him.
too.
Yeah. So who knows what's going to happen, man? Obviously, we want to keep Deebo, but depending on the circumstances, if he doesn't want to play for the team, he doesn't want to play for the team, and you can't really, be mad at him. If he does want to be close to home, he just had a child. It is what it is. But you wish the best for Deebo. You hope they can come to some type of terms and agreement. But we'll see what happens. Draft day's coming.
It's interesting too, because the Niners really do have all the leverage, because he's still under contract for this next year. So if he doesn't show up to training camp, yep, we have the franchise tag for the year after that, if it came to that. But I did see something that said if he didn't show up to training camp this year at all, that he would then be a restricted free agent next year. So even if he did hit free agency next year, and the Niners didn't want to let him go, they could match any offer that was given to him in that offseason. So the Niners do have a lot of leverage here. I'm curious to see how it plays out. And if it's true that we haven't offered him, why? Is it because Jimmy G is still on the books and we weren't ready for that, because we don't have a lot of cap space. So if he wants to make more money this year, I don't know how much flexibility we have to do that. The cap is you can manipulate it a lot. That's why some people say like, oh, the cap limit is like not even a real thing. So you can like manipulate it a lot. So that's something to see, but maybe that Jimmy is there is a reason why we haven't offered him. Because I know we're like the last team in terms of cap space this year. And Deebo's always been a big believer in Jimmy Garoppolo. So maybe Jimmy possibly leaving is another factor. I don't know. But this man right here is going to lead us to the promised land either way. I think Trey Lance has what it takes to get it done. So
Also,
I'm curious to see how it's going to play out, but something definitely to keep your eye on, especially with the draft coming up here in less than a week. There's going to be big shakeups around the league, possibly including the 49ers, Deebo, Jimmy. It's going to be a lot of movement going on, so stay aware, keep your notifications on. If something big happens, we might do a little emergency pod, so stay tuned.
Also, yeah, one thing to think about is with the draft coming up, we don't have money to sign our draft picks at this point. We need about, I think, like 7 or 8 million in space, and we have like 1 million in space right now. So something has to happen before the draft, and that could just be restructuring one player or something, but just be aware of that. And also, the 49ers have been bringing in a couple of early, like second round, late first round people for visits this past week. So I don't know, man.
Something to notice about that too is I think we touched on it a few pods ago, was that the Niners don't really draft the players that like they interview or bring in for visits. And we haven't brought in, or at least that I haven't heard of, any of the top receivers, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we haven't.
Or any of like the top edge players or anything like any of the top 30 players. I don't think we brought in or interviewed like as a top 30 visit. So that's something to watch because like we said, the Niners really never draft the players that like they do interview. It's the ones that they're not interviewing, to keep it like low key. So that's something to watch. Because
I
go
saw a
ahead.
thing, a post saying last year, like certain, like 4 or 5 of our people that we drafted, we did talk to, but usually, yes, all of our early picks, they do not talk to them at all unless it's like obvious, like
Like I
Kinlaw.
think Mike McGlinchey, remember?
Yeah,
I don't
didn't
think
speak
they
to him at
said that
all.
like we never talked to him before the draft.
Yeah.
Same with Trey Lance. Trey Lance didn't even know that we were going to take him. Obviously, that one was a little different, but still something to watch for, definitely.
And yeah, the 49ers were paying close attention. Penn State, they have Jahan Dotson. He's going to be probably a first-round receiver. Arnold Ebiketie was there as well, probably a first-round edge.
Jaquan Brisker.
Jaquan Brisker. So
Safety.
they actually brought him on a visit too. But so it'll be interesting. We'll see what actually does happen. But they've been interested in watching some of the top people. They just haven't made it official.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Do you think it's plausible for a team to have one of the highest paid tackles, one of the highest paid linebackers, one of the highest paid fullback, one of the highest paid tight ends, eventually one of the highest paid DNs, do you think and possibly a receiver if we were to re-sign Deebo, do you think the 49ers could actually do that and have, because Trent Williams, one of the highest paid, Kittle, one of the highest paid, Fred Warner, one of the highest paid, Juszczyk is the highest paid fullback. Deebo would obviously be one of the highest paid receivers. Nick Bosa would be the highest paid D end. So do you think it's actually plausible that the Niners could re-sign Deebo?
I think it is possible. The reason it is possible is because, remember, the reason teams can't do this is because they usually have an expensive quarterback. When you have a quarterback on the rookie deal, that allows you to spend money everywhere else because the most expensive position isn't, you're not allocating 50 million a year like with Mahomes or Rodgers or something like that. But at the same time, when you do have those like top 3 salaries at a position, you can't be missing in other spots. So you have like Eric Armstead making almost 20. You have D Ford that was making crazy money. You can't have those like bigger contracts. You need those to be filled by rookie contracts because everyone else is taking all the money. But also with the cap exploding, well, supposed to explode, is it next year in 2 years or whatever? Teams
I
are
think
more
2023.
comfortable paying these contracts. It's plausible, but it will put strain on everything else because the moment you start missing on draft picks, that team could go downhill fast.
I think that's something that the Niners have on their side too, is we have done an extremely good job of finding late round value. Dre Greenlaw, Kittle, Fred Warner was a 3rd round pick.
Elijah Mitchell.
Elijah Mitchell, yep. We have done a good job of finding those later round value picks. So that's something that's good that's on the Niners side. So do you think if we were to sign Deebo that Jimmy G would have to be off the roster? Or do you think we could sign Deebo and still have Jimmy on the roster?
I think we could sign him as long as, like you said, the cap hit doesn't hit this year. But you would like Jimmy to be off before you sign him and Bosa, obviously, because you're paying Bosa like 30 million plus a year too. So we can't forget about that one.
Yeah, definitely.
You'd like him gone, but I actually want to pull back up a video because Jimmy G went on a little media run this week. He was talking to a couple places. 1 second.
While you're pulling that up, dumb question. I feel like you should already know the answer to this, and I know I do as well. If you had to re-sign Deebo or Bosa, and you can only re-sign one of them, who you're re-signing?
Obviously, you're going to pick Bosa because the
Okay. I just
position.
wanted to
But
make sure we were on the same page.
if they went the other way, I could understand because I'm pretty sure Bosa still has 2 years on contract, right? You have
Was Deebo
next
and
year's
Bosa in the same year? Were they the same draft class or?
Yes, they were. So Deebo was a 2nd-round pick, so that's why this is his last year. Bosa was a first, so he has
5th-year
next
option.
year and 5th year. Yeah, so I could understand. But if you sign Deebo this year and not Bosa, you could go from maybe having to pay Bosa 30 this year to having to pay him like 40, 45 next year if he goes insane. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's a big risk at that point too. All right, so here's this video. Let's see if we could hear it.
I can't hear it.
Huh?
I can't hear it.
You can't hear that?
No.
Interesting. Let me see.
While you're trying to figure that out, let me ask you another question. What are the odds from 0%, meaning that he will be gone, to 100%, meaning that he'll be on the team? What's like your confidence odds that Deebo will be on the team after the draft?
I'd say right now probably 60-40. I think 60% he's still on the team, 40% not. I think the 49ers are going to want a crazy amount for him, which is obviously, yeah, you want a crazy amount for him. I don't think they're going to get that offer. So that's why I think he's still on the team. But I could see it going either way, to be honest with you. Let's see. Can you hear it now?
No.
Huh?
No.
All right. Well, basically, it's just Jimmy saying that, yeah, he would love to still play with Deebo on a different team, and that he hadn't thought about that yet. And so, that's one way that you could move Jimmy, is if you package him with Deebo, because at this point, we're thinking Jimmy might get cut. So the best value might come is, hey, you want Deebo? Take his quarterback with him. And who knows, that might lower what you get for Deebo, like, or it might get you more. It just depends. But it was just an interesting thing to see Jimmy talk about.
Yeah. I know that some people were saying I know Jimmy was saying too that he's still has a lot of steps that he has to take until he's ready to start throwing and training camp and everything. So that's going to be something to watch because he does need to be healthy for a team to want him. Back to Deebo. I know some people were saying that we might trade him to the Packers. I think there is 0% chance that the 49ers trade Deebo Samuel to the Packers. That would be one of the biggest mistakes. Unless they're offering some ridiculous deal, I think there's 0% chance we trade him to the Packers. What are your thoughts?
I think they could trade him to the Packers if the haul is insane. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if you're going to trade him in the NFC, you're going to get probably close to double what you're going to get from someone in the AFC, because you're going to say, hey, I'm going to be playing this dude trying to make the Super Bowl. You got to give me something crazy to actually be okay with that. So, it would take a lot to get him to stay in the NFC, but I think it could happen.
And I know another team that was in the mix. I know they said 3 teams are in the mix right now, which is there probably a lot more, but these were like the 3 top teams was the Lions, the Chiefs, and the Packers. Him going to the Chiefs would be ridiculous with Mahomes. Like, seeing that together could possibly be what you see with Trey Lance and Deebo. You know what I mean? Mahomes and Deebo could possibly be what Trey Lance and Deebo could have been or could be.
He'd basically be
That would
replacing
hurt to
Tyreek.
see. Yeah, that would hurt. That would hurt to see for sure. Another thing I want to bring up is the New York Giants have said that they're going to start shopping around Kadarius Toney, who was a first-round pick last year. And I wanted to show you guys some of his highlights. Obviously, it's kind of alarming that they're already wanting to trade their first-round pick from last year. But they said he was dealing with a lot of injuries. He's one of those injury-prone guys, which you don't want on your team, really. And then he got in that fight for throwing a punch. So those are some alarming things. But let me just show you guys some of what Kadarius Toney can do. I think he would be a decent replacement if Deebo were to leave. Obviously, he's not going to have the same production that Deebo did last year, but it would be interesting to see him in Shanahan's offense. Can you see that?
Yep.
All right. So Kadarius Toney out there. Like, this is the stuff that you see Deebo doing, breaking tackles, making people miss. Like, that play right there is just insane. Just how many people miss him in that one play is crazy.
He does it a little different than Deebo, though.
Yeah.
He's more of
Yeah,
a shifty guy. Deebo runs
yeah.
people over.
He's definitely a smaller build too. He's
Yeah.
not the same size, like thick. So he's probably a bit faster.
I saw that they were saying he wasn't picking up the playbook good. He wasn't studying and stuff like that. Could also be reasons why he's being shopped. But if you could get the dude for like third round pick or
Yeah.
someone should take a chance.
Here's another play, like a wide receiver screen. The Niners like to run a lot of screens, making people miss. That's on a 3rd and 18 too, and he almost gets the first down.
Yeah,
So,
super shifty.
He makes plays with when he has the ball in his hands. There he is in the slot right here. Good route on a slant. Jimmy G's favorite route, the slant. Boom, making people miss. This was that one play from earlier. His shiftiness is just insane. That's what you like to see. You like to see players that make big plays with the ball in their hands. And these are like the same plays. But yeah, that's a player to keep your eye on who could possibly fill some of that void if Deebo were to be traded. But like we said, there's obviously red flags that come with him because they wouldn't just want to trade their first round pick if he was performing and everything was great. So, but I just wanted to show you guys some of that stuff with him. That's Kadarius Toney.
Yeah, he could be a very good player. The injuries are concerning just because of his style of play, sharp cuts and everything, but he's a good player. He was great at Florida. You'd love to see it on the team, but not at the expense of Deebo. So,
yeah, definitely.
All right. So we know the draft's coming up this upcoming Thursday. I have a list to pull up from 49ers Gold Mine, and it's of all the players that visited with the 49ers, pre-draft visits, stuff like that. Just like we said, these people could not be picked up by the team, but just so you guys are aware, we'll pull it up. All right, can you see it?
Yep.
So here are the secondary visits. This guy, Deron Bland, is shooting up boards. People are really liking him. I haven't watched much of him. Cordell Flott is a good slot. We got our safeties that we like. Jaquan Brisker is the one we said early second round pick. This dude's flying up draft boards. Small school guy, I think D2, but he has like all the intangibles you want. Leon O'Neal, safety, corner, a lot of slot corners. Our guy, Marcus Jones, Kirby Joseph. So a lot of slots and a lot of safeties.
Safeties, I want to Nick Cross, excellent safety from Maryland, who could be late second, early third is where I've seen him recently. I like Nick Cross a lot. I think he has a lot of versatility in the box and as a one high safety. Jaquan Brisker is a great box safety. Come in, lay the wood. I watched a couple games of him. Wasn't too impressed, but obviously I'm not a scout or anything. I'm just a fan. So that's someone to watch for. And then Kirby Joseph, I like a lot. He's real rangy. He can play that one high and get sideline to sideline, make picks. He has long arms. He can also play in the box too. So that's somebody I like who's also a second to third round pick as well.
Yep. So we know those are two needs the 49ers have. Their pre-draft visits indicate, hey, we know those are needs. D lineman, Kingsley Enagbari, a lot of 49ers fans like him. I'm personally not as high on him. I have said this whole time, speed. If you're gonna, we
Yeah.
have like 10 edge rushers right now. The one thing you're possibly missing is the speed guy. So Thomas Booker, good interior guy. D'Angelo Malone is a good edge in like the third round that would be great to bring in. He's a speed guy. A lot of D tackles, interior nose guys here. Later round guys as well. Zach Carter, who you mentioned earlier, another power guy. Boye Mafe, early second round, maybe late first round pick, who you don't really like much, but he is a speed guy. Alex Wright, I mentioned him on our draft sleepers pod. So they got a good, interesting mix of like speed and power guys here. And the interesting thing is a lot of interior D tackle big guys in here, because they really didn't bring in any new ones. They brought in what's the one guy from Philly? What's his name
Hassan
again?
Ridgeway.
Hassan Ridgeway. But you can't just bring in one guy. They're getting Kinlaw back, so that's interesting to see to me. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I agree. It's interesting. I feel like we have pretty good depth there now, but if you can get one of these guys in the 4th, 5th, 6th round, why not? You can help fill some of that void. Just give them a shot.
Yep, linebackers, only a couple visits.
Before we get to the linebackers, I don't know if we mentioned that the Niners signed Kamiko Toure. Did we mention that last pod?
No, because we were talking just draft.
Yeah, so that's another player that the Niners signed was Kamiko Toure. He had 5.5 sacks last year. He's a edge, lengthy dude. So that's another. I don't really see edge. Any D line, I don't really see as a huge need at all. So
I agree. That's why I was saying it. If you're gonna get one, you got to get some different, very different. But linebackers, I haven't done really much research at all at lawn linebackers, if I'm being honest. This guy Troy Anderson, he was a quarterback for Montana State. He was like an all-conference quarterback his first year or two, and then he switched to linebacker and was like an all-conference or all-American linebacker. So cool prospect. Not really a need to me. O-line. I'll let you break down the O-line. A lot of good names here.
Dylan Parham, we touched on him earlier with some of our earlier pods. He's one of my favorite interior O linemen. Play guard, center. Very athletic, very versatile. One of my favorite guys. Ed Ingram, we showed him. He was the bully of the week this week. I don't want to touch on him too much after we did the breakdown on him earlier. Sean Ryan, I believe he's a tackle that can play guard from UCLA. They said he's pretty versatile and athletic. I know a lot of people like him. Of course, our guy, Jason Poe. If we draft Jason Poe, then my draft for the Niners would be set. That would be my favorite draft because the dude's athletic. He recently put out some stuff on his Twitter of him long snapping, playing fullback, running routes. Obviously, he's the guard.
He put up some clips at center.
Yeah.
At center, too. Looked great.
Yeah. Spencer Buford, I heard. He's a pretty athletic tackle. I haven't done too much into him. Charles Cross, he's going to be a first-round pick, so I don't think we'll touch on him too much. Gene DeLance from Florida. I know our buddy Dom touched on him last week, talking about how he put one of those Alabama guys on their ass, so that's somebody to keep your eye on in a later round. And then Cole Strange and Cam Jurgens, who are also some of my top guys in the draft. They're great centers, athletic, bullies, just fit the scheme perfectly. So there's a lot of good O-linemen that we brought in that fit our scheme to a T. Bully guys, I like it a lot. So if we get any of those guys on that list, they're going to be a top-notch dude.
You bring in one or two of those guys, I'm happy. Charles Cross, probably a top 10 pick, I think. So They probably just met with them at the combine or something. Skill positions, Ty Davis Price. Honestly, I don't know who that is at this moment. I think he plays for Utah, but I'm not 100%. Tight end Rodney Williams. A couple of these guys, I'm gonna be honest, I haven't watched or looked into up top. Zealous Jones, very, very versatile receiver, fast guy.
I know they were saying he
Jalen,
could be like the Deebo type role. You know, he makes plays with
yeah,
with the ball in his hands. I know Crocker recently said like, yeah, this dude once he gets the ball in his hands, he's legit. So that could be like a Kadarius Toney, Deebo type player.
a couple of these. So we brought in a lot of running backs, and I know some people are probably like, "Hey, man, what are you doing?" Like, we have our backs, but remember, running backs get hurt often, and remember, Deebo. The only reason Deebo really was playing running back is because we had no one else. And a lot of these guys are fast, like explosive type guys. Jalen Warren, Ty Chandler, Jerome Ford. These are all dudes that can break long runs. And I was watching more of them. Jerome Ford, Ty Chandler, and Jalen Warren specifically. I would love in like the 5th to 7th round if any are available. Brian Robinson, interesting to me because he's a bigger guy, not much of a speed back. So I don't really understand what he's bringing that's different to the team. James Cook would be amazing as well. You know, he's a great pass catching back. Um, Danny Gray, 4-3 receiver. You know, we need a burner because our burner was Travis Benjamin. He's gone.
Who also
So
wasn't a great player to begin
yeah,
with. Like even if he was a burner, dude sucked. Yeah, I agree with you on the running backs before we get off of those real quick. I'd be down for one of them in like the 5th to 7th or like probably not even the 4th because we
yeah.
do have our backs, you know, like if you can get one in the 5th to 7th, I know like a Ty Chandler, I think he ran like the second fastest 40, like at a 4.37 or something, 4.38. So if you can get him in like the 5th or 6th round, yes. But if it's anything before that, definitely not because you have Mitchell, Sermon, Jeff Wilson. You know, you still got a lot of guys back there.
So yeah, just don't be shocked if we do take a running back because it's gonna happen more than likely. Samori Toure is a very interesting receiver. He played in the FCS and he was destroying it. Went up to Nebraska, had a good year there, even though they didn't have a very good quarterback play. I think he ran like a 4.4, something around there, but pretty good player. Probably going to go late. Would be a nice pickup. He's pretty tall, I think. Christian Watson, you know, the 49er fans' darling. You'd love to get him, but we'll see what happens with that. Bo Melton, I know he's your guy. I'll let you speak on him a little bit.
Yeah, he's another one of those versatile dudes at receiver. He did a lot of end arounds and stuff at Rutgers. So again, I don't want to because these players aren't gonna do what Deebo did last year. You know, there's no way. There's like 0% chance that any of these rookies or even Kadarius Toney could do what Deebo did last year, but they can help fill some of that void. Not all of it, maybe not even 50% of it, but fill some of it, you know. So Bo Melton's one of those guys that could do some of that stuff. So I like Bo Melton a lot.
And then you see the two quarterbacks at the end. Bailey Zapp is like the FC or the college football passing leader in yards or something. Probably a late round guy. Malik Willis, they just met with him probably at the combine. There's nothing happening there. Don't worry. He's going probably top 5.
Like we said, our boy right here. Don't got to worry
Mm-hmm.
about taking nobody else with our boy right here.
So that's a list, you know, bunch of good players. You see what they're looking for. They're looking at the pass catching backs. They're looking at the speed wide receivers, guards and centers that can move in space, safeties and slot corners. They're looking at the holes on the team, and that's what we expect. So, hopefully they get a couple of these guys because we like them. We've talked about them on the channel, and they brought in some great guys. So we'll see what happens with Deebo. Could affect the draft, but it could not. We hope Deebo's still on the team.
Yeah. I mean, I hope Niner fans aren't like bashing Deebo over this, because there is a decent chance that he comes back to the Niners as well. So you're going to look like an idiot if you're over there bashing him. Obviously, I'm 100% on board for keeping Deebo if it's possible, but if we do trade him, I hope we get a haul, an absolute haul. I know there was one that was saying the Jets really could give up like, I think it was pick 35 or something, and 39, and then like 60. I'd be down for that. So just keep your eyes open, just stay aware.
That was the exact trade they offered for Tyreek.
Yeah.
And that supposedly that trade got accepted, but then like something happened. I don't know. But supposedly they were going to take that.
Yeah, there's a direct link there to Deebo and the Jets, with Robert Saleh being the head coach of the Jets. So there's a direct link there, of course. That's definitely something to keep your eye on. There's obviously a good relationship between Shanahan, Lynch, and Saleh. So there might be some fluid communication going on right now.
And before we hop into the mock draft, this is probably, it is our last mock draft before the actual draft. One last piece of 49er news. Marcel Harris, he was a safety for the team, ended up transitioning last year and providing some linebacker depth, signed with the Jets this week. So, like you said, the Dolphins and the Jets, whenever you have a coach leave, they're going to be taking players when they become free agents. So that's just something to look out for. All right, let's hop in.
So we're not going to be making any Deebo trades in this draft or anything, right? We're going to stick to what we have right now.
Yeah, we'll stick to what we have because, we don't want to be guessing.
Unpredictable. Yeah.
All right.
So like we said, do you want to announce the exciting news now, or do you want to still save it till after this mock draft?
So we'll say we have some very exciting interview opportunities coming up. But stick to the end with us if you want to hear the actual names, all right?
Yeah.
Very, very exciting, man. It's nice getting to talk to these people and get their perspective. All right, so we're at pick 61. We got Kingsley Enagbari here, your guy Nick Cross, Jalen Tolbert, Zach Tom, very good tackle prospect. Your guy Parham, Marcus Jones, Kirby Joseph. They dropped this dude far. DeMarvin Leal, he was ranked like 30th when we first started. Same with Cam Thomas. Who you thinking though?
Perrion Winfrey was down there as well. This one's tough because I know, like I said, I've kind of transitioned from taking a guard or an offensive lineman with this first pick, because I feel like there's a lot more depth with offensive line in the third and fourth rounds. So here I would be looking at a skill position probably. I don't really like Kingsley Enagbare. I seen him getting down blocked by like some white slot receivers, so that's not a good look.
Hey, it don't matter what color they were. They're just the receivers.
Still, I'm just saying,
He was getting blocked by a receiver.
Something to notice. Nick Cross, I like I said, as a safety. I think it's too early for Marcus Jones. Kirby Joseph is another safety that I really like a lot. So I'd probably be going between those two and Perrion Winfrey. It's tough. What would be your direction?
I'll go with I'll say Kirby or Perion, just because I was watching some Nick Cross film, and that dude sometimes just he loses the coverage, man. It was bad, but very talented still. I'm more of a Kirby Joseph fan though at safety, if I'm being honest.
I would probably go Kirby just because you're gonna want to have Eric Armstead still playing at that 3 tech, and then you have Kinlaw and all those other guys that we mentioned.
Alec Pierce went off the board right there. All right, Carson Strong, your two Arizona State guys on the O line.
Kyle
D'Angelo
Phillips we
Malone,
touched on before.
good speed rusher. Here's Danny Gray, met with the 49ers. Same James Cook. Luke Fortner.
Center I like.
Good players here.
Yep. So scroll back up. I think here we like D'Angelo Malone, but I think with Kamiko Toure, you can push edge down the list a little bit. Here I'm probably going between Kellen Deach and Donovan West, but I'd probably go Kellen Deach right here. You know, super athletic offensive lineman, can play tackle or guard. I like a lot.
6'7", 301,
Yep, good size.
87 grade.
Only
Dang,
3 sacks in the last 3 years.
this dude don't have a lot of reps though. Just this past year.
Yeah, left tackle. Yeah.
Good grades though
But
overall.
look at his grades overall at tackle. You know, he's one of the best tackles.
Exactly what the 49ers like right here.
And like we said, you don't know what you're getting with Mike McGlinchey when he comes back. So this dude can provide that depth for you, swing tackle, you know. Trent Williams isn't getting any younger, so he could take over that spot eventually. All right, so I made the first 2 picks. Now you can make these 2 picks, and we'll switch back.
All right, let's see who we got. This dude, Zion McCollum, if you haven't heard of him, his RAS score, I think, is first overall out of all cornerback prospects ever. Just an insane athlete. Just something to keep aware of. I'm not taking him right here, but just something for the people watching to know. So you got a lot of good prospects here. You got Danny Gray, you know, that game-breaking speed receiver. I think the 49ers met with this guy, right? Dominique Robinson, edge.
Yeah, I think so.
6'5", 253. His grades aren't that good. I haven't watched any of him though. So Kyle Phillips, intriguing slot here, but I am going with Luke Fortner. You know, you get center, good grades past 3 years. He has some versatility to play some guard spots or center. Overall, you know, he's not a flashy player, but he gets the job done, and that's what you want from your center. So I'm taking him.
Yeah, he's very athletic too, you know. That's what we need. And like you said, he can play center, guard, you know. He can play different positions along that interior, so that's something I like as well.
Mm-hmm. Here we got. Have you done your research on Kevin Austin yet? I know you said you were going to watch him. I still haven't watched him.
I watched some of them. Didn't really pop off to me, you know. He dropped a couple passes on the game I was watching, so not too impressed.
All right, so here, our guy Jason Poe flying up the boards, man. He was ranked like 220 at 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go. We're happy for you, Jason. We're excited. But so we went safety, tackle, center, correct?
Yep, Kirby, Kellen Deach, and then Fortner.
So here, you know, you got your guy Pierre Strong, halfback, game-breaking halfback. Good tackles, good interior D line. Nothing crazy here to me, Ty Chandler. I'm probably going with our guy Chig, the tight end from Maryland.
Yeah.
I just want to get my guy Trey Lance some weapons. You want to make it as easy on him. This dude could play in the backfield. You could play tight end. You could split him out. He can do a little bit of everything. Let's go with him.
And like we said in the last couple pods, he's a Delaney Walker clone in terms of the measurables and his testing. So that's another weapon that could play alongside Kittle and just be dominant.
All right, you're up.
All right. So there you have Brian Robinson. That was one of the running backs we brought in. Ty Chandler, another running back that we brought in. Jason Poe, our guy.
This guy we brought in, D line, interior D line.
Yeah. Otito Ogbanyo, that's another good D tackle that I've seen. Chris Paul, I know, is a guy that you like.
The guy we brought in.
Matt Ariza, Leon O'Neal. Couple good dudes going on here.
One guy I want to mention real quick. Josh Johnson, this wide receiver. Not really getting talked about much. I was watching some film on him though, and the dude moves different. Like he kind of moves like Antonio Brown does at receiver when he was coming out of college. Just an interesting guy to keep your eye on for anyone watching.
Can you click on him so you can see his stats and stuff?
So he's a small guy like Antonio Brown. He can flat out get open. He was playing some pretty good competition, couple games, not good grades, but you see the receptions this past year, the yards, TDs. Just the way he moves was just interesting to me.
Can you just go up real quick? Slot yards, he had 1,113
yeah, he's
slot
a slot
yards.
guy.
Jeez.
But look at his grade against Ohio State. That's the game that I mostly saw of him, and he looked great against them. Just an interesting guy.
Looking here, I would love to draft our guy Jason Poe, but given that we already took a tackle, a center, I don't know. I'm going between Poe and that receiver that you just pulled up because I think a dominant slot receiver could be a big difference maker for us. So Poe or that receiver, what are you thinking?
It's your pick, man.
Let's go with the receiver. Let's switch it up. Let's hope that Poe is still going to be there at our next pick. We'll go Josh Johnson at receiver. I think a dominant slot could help out the team a lot.
All right, we still got these good running backs here. This pick, still your guy, Jason Poe, still here.
Let's run it.
Run it, Jason Poe.
Yep. Give me our guy. Like I said, if we can get him, that would make my draft complete.
And the thing is, too, you got to think about is, even if you draft a guy early, the guy you draft later could beat him out. Look at Elijah Mitchell and Trey Sermon. So there's nothing wrong with drafting depth or doubling up at a position.
All right, these two picks are yours.
All right. So we got that corner. Let's see. Is he a slot guy or is he an outside corner? 6'2". He's not a slot guy. I've heard good things about this guy. I don't know much about him though. Matt Ariza, my guy Matt Ariza. Marquise Bell, good safety. Jalen Warren still here. Good running back. I'm probably going to go here with my guy Noah Elliso. Surprising pick. 6'4", 350. There was times last season where we would get gashed in the center. Teams would just start picking us apart. Bring in that big run stuffer. All right. And then here, I'm unfortunately going to pass on my guy, and I am going to take Jalen Warren, running back, 5'8", 204. He had 1,200 yards rushing last year, 11 TDs, 26 receptions for 27 yards. So, good player. I like him here. We'll go with them. And then you get Mr. Irrelevant.
All right, give me one sec. So Jalen Warren ran a 4.55, which is interesting because that's kind of slow.
Yeah.
You know, that's not a very fast running back that I feel like the Niners need compared to like a downhill back. So that's something interesting. Mr. Irrelevant, who is it going to be? Scroll back up. Let's see. These dudes, these dudes are just kind of more of a shot in the dark. Let's go with that Notre Dame edge guy.
Tua's cousin.
So yeah. Let's see what grade PFF gives us.
Oof.
A D+ for Kirby. That's rough. They don't like Josh Johnson either.
Man, they hated this.
Yeah.
They liked Luke Fortner and Jason Poe, man, and that's it.
It's a tough one, tough look, but PFF obviously isn't always the most accurate. I know a lot of players hate PFF.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Let me see if I could hop on here and see if I could find some Josh Johnson clips for you real quick.
Yep, so there was our last mock draft. And now we'll see how the real thing plays out. There could be a lot of movement up, down, everything in between. The Niners like to be active during the draft, and then now that, of course, Deebo wants out, it could be very interesting. Going to be a lot of movement going on for the 49ers, no matter what happens.
All right, let's see. Here's a clip of our guy, Josh Johnson.
Get a high point right there, back shoulder throw. Slot right there, too. Jeez, it was a great route.
He's a good route runner. Those comeback routes all day. I think Shrine Bowl.
Shrine Bowl.
Yeah, those comeback routes, man, he just whoops people.
Having a good slot, too, it's key in the NFL. Look what Cooper Kupp did last year.
Yeah, so he's an interesting small school guy. He wins.
Yeah,
he
definitely
wins.
Somebody to keep your eye on.
That wasn't a good route right there. But this is Ohio State right here.
No, supposedly he ran a 4.62 40
at the combine.
Yeah, or something. I just see that it's at the Shrine Bowl. Maybe looks like they might have did some stuff over there.
Yeah, so I mean, our guy Cooper Kupp ran a 4.6 40.
Like we said, those slot receivers, they can get away with having the slower speeds.
If you can win with your routes, that's all you need to do to play slot, man. So just wanted to show a little bit of him. Since we drafted him, never really talked about him on here. But like, man can high point the ball. He just wins. I'll show this last clip here, and then we'll close it out.
Yeah, impressive.
That's what you look for, in the late rounds. You just want to find those guys that win. They might not have the best measurables, or they might not have the best production. It could go either way. You just want to find those guys that can produce at the next level. Sleeper. They might need to work on some things, stuff like that.
Yep. All right, let's make the big announcement. Who might be coming on the pod within these next couple weeks?
All right, so let me pull up clip real quick.
So while Joe's pulling up his guy, we've been working on some possible guests. One of them being Terrell Brown, who was a former corner for the Niners. If you're an OG Niner fan, you'll remember him. He played in the Super Bowl against the Ravens. He was on the team for a while. He locked down the secondary with Terrell Brown, Chris Culliver, Carlos Rogers, Deshaun Goldson, Dante Whitner. Those five had our secondary on lock for a while. So that's definitely an exciting guest that might be coming on with just very interesting. He was there for the Kaepernick, Alex Smith turnover and everything that went on with that, with Harbaugh, Trent Baalke. So that'd be a great guest that we're working on, possibly coming on soon. Another one is former Super Bowl champ Dexter Carter, running back for the Niners. Played running back, punt returner, kick returner. He won the 94 Super Bowl against the Chargers. So having his former Super Bowl champ that played with Montana, Steve Young, Jerry Rice, Roger Craig, all those greats from back in the day. That'd be another fun interview that we're working on. And then Joseph has another guy that he's going to talk about here.
And then we got our guy, I might butcher his name, but his name's Luigi Villain. He's from Wake Forest. He's a draft prospect this year. He was a 4-star recruit to Michigan. Had 2, I believe, ACL tears his freshman and sophomore year in college. But he was higher rated than Kwity Paye. He was in the same draft class as him. Ambry Thomas. He played under Jim Harbaugh, former 49er coach. So he's 6'3", 256. He ran a 4.7 5.40. He had 9 or 10 sacks this past year. And he wins with speed. He's a speed rusher. Very, very interesting prospect. He played with Aiden Hutchinson. Going to be maybe the first overall pick. What's the other guy from Michigan this year?
David Ojabo.
Yeah, so, we're going to ask him about Jim Harbaugh, how it was playing for him, and how it was playing with all these other top DN rushing prospects. We should have him on sometime this week before the draft. And the dude might go as early as the 3rd round from what I'm hearing. So very, very interesting prospect. And, we'll get to ask him some 49er stuff, how's Ambry Thomas, Jim Harbaugh. And then, like Bubba said, when we bring Terrell Brown on, we'll get to see how was Jim Harbaugh as a 49er coach versus how he was as a Michigan coach. So we got some interesting perspectives coming to the channel. Like, subscribe, tune in. We're trying to grow this thing, give you guys a different perspective to 49er football. And, it's exciting times.
Yep. Stay tuned. Stick with us. Like, comment, subscribe, show some love. We're out here grinding, trying to grow this thing. So, like we said, exciting stuff coming up. Stay tuned.
And then also, Eric Crocker said he would come on our show. Great podcaster, played NFL and the Arena League. We gotta coordinate with him, see when we could get him on as well. So we got some stuff coming for you guys.
Yep, stay tuned. Like we said, you got any other closing thoughts?
Nope. Just remember, I'm gonna be trying to go live. I think Alex might try to jump on when we're about to come up during the draft. Probably like 5 to 10 picks out, we'll hop on. If we trade up, obviously, we might not be on, but we'll try. And it's exciting times, man. We'll see what happens.
And like you said, if we trade up, we might have to do an emergency live podcast. So make sure you hit that little notification bell on YouTube so you guys can hop on and talk with us. 'Cause, I want to know your guys' perspectives and who you think the Niners should pick as well. So hit that little bell so you know when we go live if that happens.
Yes, sir.
Yep. Stay tuned. Going to be an exciting week for the 49ers and the NFL in general. So just stay aware and have a good week.
Yep. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Send it back.